Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are reviewing The Crow, directed by Rupert Sanders, starring Bill Skarsgård, FKA Twigs and Danny Huston. And with the arrival of The Crow, we complete August's trio of trash. First we had Borderlands, then we had Trap, and now we have The Crow, three of the year's worst offerings in terms of film. The trailer alone looked lifeless and devoid of any kind of personality to me, but I at least thought the fact that I'm not familiar with the original and I didn't have that pre-established connection to the lore, to Brandon Lee, that I would at least hate it less. Even if I didn't love it more, I would at least hate it less, but that is not the case at all. The Crow is about a man and a woman who meet and fall in love at this rehab center, break out together, kind of go on the run, and the girl's past eventually catches up to her. They're both killed, and the boyfriend is given the power of the Crow, which is basically this resurrected ability to go after the murderers and in killing them, kind of releasing the soul to be able to go where it needs to go in the afterlife. I'm not 100% sure on that because the film is very unbothered with its own lore, with its own logic, and with its own characters. That was the first thing that really stood out to me when watching this film, was how unbothered the script was in things it sets up, with themes it introduces, with the world it seems to tease, and ultimately delivers no kind of payoff or clarity with. Firstly, we've got the use of the film's flashbacks, which kind of tease and offer very quick glimpses of the troubles and traumas and the reason that Eric is in this kind of rehabilitation center to begin with. They are very quick kind of millisecond glimpses at certain events from his past, and they resurface at a point later on in the film that makes you think it's going to be this character-defining moment in his youth that he then kind of rectifies. But again, there is no kind of context, there is no kind of closure, there is kind of a horse that's bleeding. I'll admit I did doze off twice in this film, so I could have missed something important. However, I do not get the vibe I missed anything. The way these flashbacks get used and displayed are very scattershot, are very random, very unfulfilling, and unemotional ways to kind of pretend like you're giving the character any background. Then there's the villain, played by Danny Huston, who is basically this somewhat immortal person who's still alive because he exploits innocent souls and donates them to someone. I don't know, he kind of says that he needs the souls to give to him so that he will be left alone, but there is no broader context of who him is. There is no attempt to flesh out this world, or who Danny Huston's character is, why he still wants to be alive, how he formed this relationship with this evil master, who I assume is some Satan-like figure. And the same goes for the Purgatory. When Bill Skarsgård eventually wakes up there, he's kind of greeted by a herald who says he has the power to go back. He does go back, then he does something wrong, he then goes back there, trades his soul for hers so he can go back again. The writing, the way that the mythology and the kind of clunky plot mechanics are strewn together without really any layer or thought are just shoddy. The one thing that I think I respect the film for is that early on it at least commits to trying to build up the relationship of these two characters so that when they die you feel that loss. You don't feel that loss because the scenes they give us are pretty weak, but there is at least an attempt to make the focus about those two characters. They become infatuated with each other and willing to run away together in a matter of minutes after meeting. They seem to easily be able to hang out and convene in a support centre where boys and girls are supposed to be separate. And then most of the scenes that the film gives us as an excuse for them building their relationship are make-out scenes, scenes where they're just looking longingly into each other's eyes while moping about being broken, and really gives us nothing to emotionally latch onto for later on in the film. This is a world and a kind of mythology that really could have had a very gothic, very edgy, very dark and distinct identity and feel, and from the glimpses I've seen of the original, that's what the original had. But at a visual level, this film is lifeless. It is just the production design, the locations used, the colour palette, the cinematography, it is just bland, it is just devoid of personality and character, just the most formulaic, conventional and uninteresting thing possible. Bill Skarsgård is a brilliant actor. He is incredibly committed to the physicality, to the expressionism of the film, but he has got nothing to work with. There is one action sequence at the end which is somewhat bloody, somewhat embraces the dark, gory capabilities of this role and this world. But it was ultimately too little too late, because the film does not give us enough of these moments. It is just dreadful. The Crow, if you're kind of curious about it, will be a case of curiosity killing the cat. If anyone had the same response as me watching the trailer, which was, it looks like an interesting concept told in the most mundane way possible, that is exactly what you get with this film. The Crow is a reboot that does nothing to justify existing in the first place. It shows little to no interest in the actual world building of its own universe. Oh god, I'm just gonna stop talking about it. If you have seen The Crow, guys, do drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Please also consider liking and subscribing. That is always a huge help for me. And in the meantime, I'll see you for the next review.